freaks and ghouls, slashers and psychopaths, scaredy cats and scaredy dogs. I'm your horror host with the most, the Headless Glen, and welcome to Graveyard Grumblings, where I talk about whatever the fuck I want to. And for this video, we're going to be going over an extreme highball that I thought of literally just a few minutes ago about the Suicide Squad movie, specifically in regards to my beautiful chonky boy, Nanaue, better known as the King Shark. And, okay, so I'm gonna make this video rather quick, because there's not a lot to go over. Hi guys. So, my dumbass forgot to explain a couple things, so I'll be appearing in and out of the video with whenever the music stops. It's generally going to be either me or a video clip to show the feat. But Waller specifically states Nanaue is the strongest member of the Suicide Squad.
You gonna kill Megladoosh now or what?
Nanaue is the strongest member of your team. You need him to get into Jotunheim.
And if you equate strength to power, which she seemed to be doing, because she stated that he was the strongest and was necessary to get into Jotunheim. And because she was talking about having to get in and fight the other people there, is what it seemed to imply. And if you go by that, that means he's the strongest of everyone on the Suicide Squad, of course, which would include Polka Dot Man. Now, I love Polka Dot Man. I felt like the portrayal was rather interesting. I did like how they handled the mental disability, even though I know some people don't like how that was handled. And I like how it was used. I like the creativity that was used around my boy, because I love, for your information, I love Forgotten Batman movies so much. But anyway, enough of my rambling. Polka Dot Man was stated to have interdimensional power.
What is it? It's
an interdimensional virus.
Now, interdimensional is a very weird statement when in regards to power scaling, because it can literally mean quite a few things, but mainly it's like power that exists in between at least two dimensions. Now, dimensional scaling, basically, if you are in a higher dimension, you're basically infinitely stronger than everything below you, dimensionally. And so, if you argue this power is like fourth dimensional, because it is arguably between, like, above the third dimension, given how destructive it is, because it literally seems to go through basically anything like butter. And, in my opinion, could have killed Starro by himself if he had actually aimed a bit higher and hadn't stopped. Interdimensional. Why I personally would put it above the third dimension. Because if it was any lower, it wouldn't be effective, at least if we're going by dimensional scaling, which the film may not, but if it's from a higher dimension, it would likely have the destructive effect that it is having. The only problem with that I could possibly see is if someone were to argue the flat circles, though I wouldn't say they're flat because they clearly have mass, but if you tried to argue that they're like a two-dimensional type thing, then I could see the argument for it being a lower dimension and therefore not completely scaling to what I've said. I personally wouldn't argue either of these if I was being serious, but if you will argue it as a dimension, it would be redundant if it was below the third dimension. Yeah, if you argue the interdimensional is between a fourth dimensional thing, then you get to the conclusion that Nanaue would also have fourth dimensional. Well, he would be stronger than a fourth dimensional attack. This in itself would not make Nanaue fourth dimensional, by the way. It would just make his attack potency that strong. As for the reason that if King Shark was quote-unquote more powerful than Polka Dot Man, why isn't he like destroying the universe? Well, that would be because attack potency does not equal destructive capability. It's also a range issue. Let's say Goku is like punched the planet. Without ki, his range of like destruction would not destroy the planet. At least from what I've seen. But in other cases, he's able to punch multiversal characters. Well, low multi to multi. It depends the version of Goku. But, like, he's able to harm people who can destroy multiverses. Does that mean he's not planet level? Well, no, obviously not, because he's able to harm people a lot stronger. It's just the range and things like that. Now, this is beyond a highball, potentially even wake. But the fact that it can be argued means that I have to use it. I have become very stupid with how I power skill lately. And that's how I do it. So if you want to argue Universal Plus Nanaue, there you go. That's how I would do it. I would use better things than I have said, because I'm kind of an idiot. Well, not kind of. I am an idiot. I'm fucking stupid. But Universal Plus Nanaue, I'll do it. The chonky boy deserves it. He is a beautiful boy. Finally, to touch on the picture that I've made for this video, would King Shark be able to kill Superman with his scaling? Well, DC EU Superman, he doesn't have anything above like planet level. Because if you argue that he is at least comparable to a Mother Box, which, brought him to life. Though then again, I'm not sure I would personally argue it, because in the Snyder Cut, he does die to it, if I remember correctly. But, yeah. He's like planet level and faster than light, because he's able to keep up with the Flash, who has arguably faster than light speeds. So Superman's either speed of light to FTL, and that means King Shark would never be able to land a hit on Superman. But if he did, with this scaling, he would one-shot. But, yeah. With all that said, stay frosty.